Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I am going to be doing the Aries Black Moon Solar Eclipse. Solar eclipses are new moon, so I think it's redundant to put new moon in there. You know or you don't know. Okay? I don't have the time, y'all. Anyway, so we will have the Aries Black Moon North Node solar eclipse on the 20th, Eastern Standard Time at 12:12 a.m. Um, or it's the 21st at 12:12 a.m. Please do your research, family, to check and make sure. I be trying to keep up with the time and stuff, but I'm not always that great at it. It'll be at 29 degrees. And so the 29th degree can be a Leo degree. It can be quick, having to act quickly, the mark of a king, your heart, your actual heart, or, what we love or our passions and desires. This can be power, rulers, entertaining, and gold. Um, this could be something final and complete. It is the last degree of the sign, which is called the anaretic degree. So it's indicating that we've come full circle. If you remember, we had the Aries new moon um, at 0 degrees, and now it's at 29 degrees. So we've completed a full cycle, if you will, of lessons around the self, Aries energy in general. And so it could be like something is finally over and complete. It can be intense, faded issues, crisis situations. This is the first Aries eclipse of many to come for the Aries Libra axis. Um, there are usually four eclipses a year that happen every 6 months. And again, black moons just means that this is the second moon in a row. So whenever you have two new moons, two full moons in a row, they're called, the second one is considered a black moon. And solar eclipses, just so that we're clear, are new moons, okay, by solar, and then lunar is full. So, okay, solar moons are new moons. And so there's like a bunch of different indications of endings and beginnings here. But solar eclipse is when the sun is in between the moon and the earth, and something is getting eclipsed out. Actually, because of that fact, I think that we are already seeing, eclipse energy being played out in a pretty powerful way. But because this eclipse is square Pluto, I actually think Pluto is the stronger energy here, meaning we'll see those things more. I actually think the actual Aries eclipse is getting eclipsed out. And so the new beginnings, the things that we're starting, and the excitement of this new energy, we will see over time. Okay. Um, and even within the next 6 months. Um, Eclipses have a dramatic flair to them, to move you in some way that marks a major turning point. This is when something ends and something new starts that's outside of our control. This could be things like death and rebirth, or death and birth, or death and somebody has a baby, marriage or divorce, relocation, or a loss of a job. Um, And Aries energy is also the representation of new energy too. So it's a new moon, so there can be new beginnings, new opportunities in some area of your life. And it's a north node eclipse. So this is our collective destiny and new territory that needs to be explored. Um, and we always start to feel these a month in advance. And I feel like I've talked about that, especially just off the fact that we've had this energy already is an indication that this stuff has been brewing. You know what I mean? The North Node doesn't actually move into the North Node until July or June, but nonetheless, we are going to feel it. I just don't think that we're going to see the full effects of what this has to offer until, over the duration of the 18 months. Um, that's how long it stays in one axis for 18 months. So, um, the last time we had this eclipse was late 2003. Um, which was when they implemented the USA Patriot Act, which I find very interesting because is there some kind of indication there that we kind of gave away our rights, our freedom back then with, everything that was going on with 9/11, and so they amped up the ante with surveillance and um all that stuff there. So we can even hear more stuff about that, which is why when I was doing the last video that I did, I was talking about bricks. And I was surprised not to see Iran in there. And then after that, I don't know, I happened to be watching something else about it briefly, and I did see talks of Iran, and I was like, well, that's more like it because it just felt like, they out of all the places, Iran, I mean, I mean, anyways, y'all know I don't have to say it. Okay. Uh, um, we did some wild shit over there to Iran. And so I do think we're gonna hear about it. Typically, whenever you have a um an eclipse that was had in another time, it doesn't always, end up being like the same exact energy, but there's a possibility for the same types of events to happen, if that makes sense at all. Like it could be some another tragic event like 9/11, but not by plane, right? And I'm not trying to say that to scare anybody. I'm just explaining like typically things don't repeat energetically, but they happen in that same way because the energy means the same thing. Aries is what it is, right? And so that's another reason why you have to consider the aspects and what other planets are aspecting um, this eclipse. Um, and because it's with Pluto, I'll talk more about that in a minute, on how some of those things could be coming up, you know, on what I think we could see. And the time after that was 2015 or 2014 to 2015. And I have some stuff to talk about that further down as well. And Aries is a cardinal fire sign, so this is initiator energy. This rules your motivation, your energy, what wakes you up in the morning, um, uh, action, um, anything physical or movement, the head, and anything to do with the head, body part wise, brain, eyeballs, your nose. Um, it is your physical body. So is in Taurus, so I try to stay away from saying that, but it's you. It's you. You're you. Aries represents the I am. So all I am statements, it's you. It's the individual. Um, it also rules your self-esteem, your body, like weight, you know, or how you show up in your body as a person, you know. Um, mm, I'm trying to think what else it could be when it comes to that. It's your identity, your body, your ego, the approach you take to life, who you are now. And because this is happening at the 29th degree, it's just, this could also be a realization of who you absolutely are not anymore, right? On a deeper level, this eclipse is about getting clear on this new you and how you're going to show up moving forward. You can reflect on where you've been and what you've been through and how that's shaped you. I think that's going to be even bigger because the only thing saving us, honest to God, from this being a complete shit show, although to be quite frank, I think it already is a shit show, but um, you know, the only thing that's saving us is Taurus retrograde, Mercury in Taurus retrograde, which means we could be more focused on the past, anyways, despite this all being new. But again, eclipses are things that are happening outside of us. So even though we might be focused on the past, trying to wrap things up, trying to finish things off, trying to close doors or get closure or finalize something, you know, in whatever way that's showing up for you, you're still going to have new stuff coming and new opportunities for the work that you have done and completed. Um, and so that's going to be very interesting, but I also really do think that we should just like thank Mercury retrograde and Taurus because I do think that's the only thing that's saving us. Although, you know, once we get May 5th, we'll have an eclipse in Scorpio. And at the same time, or not at the exact same time, but also in May, Jupiter is going to move into Taurus. And so whatever we was retrograding from Mercury and Taurus and thinking back and finalizing, well, whatever that newness that adds to this kind of Aries energy is, it's going to expand Taurus themes for the next year. Um, that's going to be a shit show. I want to be nice. I do, but because it's happening around an eclipse, that's such, I mean, Aries, it's almost like we're having three energies in Aries, if you want to get technical, because we had the Aries new moon, the Aries new moon eclipse, and then May 5th, it'll be the Scorpio lunar eclipse. But Scorpio, you know, Mars is the ruler of Aries, and is the ancient is Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So, to be quite frank, we're not safe. But again, south nodes are past issues, things from the past, um, and internal stuff. And because it is uh connected to Aries, I do feel like essentially not only are we wrapping things up from the past and past lives and you know all that stuff there, but also ourselves. Like this is really like I see this as being a more harsher reality for people, individual people trying to individuate your um yourself as who you are and who you show up as in this world. I think we are going to have, like how they do in Doctor Strange when they go to the mirror dimension and everything's mirror and it's like, yo, if you don't know geometry, you could easily tap something and it's like, oh, it's a mirror, it's a reflection and it's tight and there's nowhere to turn. You are gonna have to face some hardcore facts about who you are, um, what motivates you to be who you are, your understanding around that, and how much we need to change. And honest to fucking shit show, God, I think it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow, even though it's like but it's me though. Like, how hard can it be? I don't know, man. With Pluto being involved, I think about this shit. And I think about all the people out there who have been hurt and never healed. I mean, look at how we despise counseling and getting help and leaning on one another and healing and, you know, um, eh, eh, no, no, there's no God. God forbid we try to have that conversation, And even in the spiritual community, I still feel like we got some evolving to grow from our understanding of spirituality. And honestly, dude, I think this shit's gonna be tough. And I don't think it's really gonna hit us until like later down the line once we're about to have that second set of eclipses at the end of the year. Because remember, this energy is getting eclipsed out. And so it's all going to be happening again eternally. And it's going to be another buildup of explosions that are coming up and out about, what are we consistently throwing underneath the rug, avoid and running from and fear of. Man, I'm giving y'all the light version, okay? I think this shit's gonna be real fucking painful, but like not to scare you, right? Like no bullshit, because on the upswing of Aries energy, it's like we're gonna get tired. We're gonna look in the mirror and see a reflection of ourselves that is just so degrading and I don't even think humiliating is the right word, but just like I know I was raised better than that. Yeah, I might have been poor, I ain't had shit and came from, no, not no silver spoon or whatever, but I'm a good person. How did I get here? Why am I so angry? Why am I so manipulative? Why do I have to have control over everything? Why? It's going to be a lot of really looking hardcore in the mirror to the point. I don't think you're going to be able to avoid this, folks. I really don't. But we're going to learn to take accountability for that stuff, and really, really, really do some deep, deep soul searching, heavy soul searching, like on a level that is just going to be, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Aries also rules war, army, warriors, independence, courage, leadership, self-discovery. Um, we can see people expanding their beliefs, philosophies, spiritual abilities. Um, People can be getting gifts through an abundance of gifts or travel or optimism on this new journey, despite whatever else is going on, depending on where you're at in on your spiritual journey. Um, we will master the Aries area of life because it's also happening on a Saturn deacon, and the deacons are just broken up in three. So you got first, middle, and last deacon. Okay. Um, and it's out of Saturn deacon. And Saturn wants you to master something. Saturn is about mastery, discipline, getting grounded, clear on your why, um, and how you want to uh, show up. It's a reality check, on being realistic about your expectations in life, right? Um, I think this is going to deal a lot with the difference between free will and uh, I don't know why I can't think of the opposite end of whatever that is. But I do think there's going to be a lot of questions about the difference between free will and, being obedient to some spiritual belief. I think religion is going to be highly in question here. Um, we are going to be changing our morals, ethics, and beliefs around spirituality and religion. Um, we can see a lot of people changing their belief systems and practices. Um, but yeah. Um, it's also guns, knives, sharp objects, police, um, explosions, fires. Um, yeah. Um, I want to say so much there, but I'm trying to watch it because I really don't want to like freak people out. But I mean, you can look and see. I mean, clearly we're seeing this devastation the way I want to talk about it more so in other countries. It hasn't quite hit America yet, but I think it's getting there. They are trying real hard to get us all wound up. And family, I just want to say, try to ignore these people, man. I mean, I think it's going to be hard because Mars is in Cancer, and I did this video. You always want to look at where the ruler of that energy is, and Aries is ruled by Mars. It's in Cancer. It's debilitated. It's not at its best in Mars. And so Mars is not at its best. And so we can see a lot more of the lower expressions of things than the higher expressions. But, for good measure or whatever, people are going to become super, super, super fucking protective of their home, family, body. Um, uh, Bloodline, family tree. People that might be demolishing their generational curses that are passed down and determined more than ever to break those chains and make new um, generations or become the first of something different than by breaking the chains. It's like family never been rich. They're not doing family businesses. You could be the first one to initiate that in your family line. And now you can start a whole new line of, you know, seeing things differently in that way. Um, Security, again, guns. I think a lot more people might buy more guns, feel the need. People are going to want to protect what belongs to them, what they hold closely to their hearts. Um, they're going to be looking for financial security and emotional security. Um, yeah, I think this can break up a lot of families that aren't feeling like they get that. People are going to want to escape. People are tired, they're angry, they're frustrated, they want the truth, they're tired of being lied to. And it could be an outburst of emotional cries for like, who's helping me? Who's helping the kids? Who's doing that? And there could be like outrages about those questions. Who's protecting my emotions? Who's protecting my feelings? Who's securing my home? my children, my family. Um, you know, eclipses are like new moons on fucking steroids. You got Mars and Cancer. Adding to that, it's like emotional fucking havoc, you know? Um, but you know, whatever it is, it's necessary to get us to change the way we do things, and what we take seriously and what we don't. Um, Aries is also impulsive and patient on the lower expression. It's important to avoid hasty decisions, to be cautious or don't take unnecessary risks. That's what you want to remember the most. Really, really think things through. Remember, we are in a retrograde, so thinking is the best place to be around wherever you're at until you feel ready to act or, you know, you have solid, you know, actions that you feel like you can take. Um, mm, I think it can also highlight issues around self-identity and motivation. Um, this can cause us to examine our goals, values, and make necessary adjustments. Be careful for situations that can cause aggressive, combative, quick reacting, and confrontational situations. Um, I think that's going to be unavoidable, just to be honest with you. And you really, really, really want to know where you have this happening in your life. Um, that's going to help you mm, be prepared, like, oh, you should be mindful. Like, okay, I know this shit's coming up for any of these kinds of situations. Let me think. Let me think. So Mars is in Cancer. You want to look at your Cancer area of life. And then Aries is, oh, you want to look at your Aries area of life. And Pluto is in Aquarius, so you want to look at your Aquarius area of life because those are going to be what's mostly activated and what's most likely going to act a goddamn fool. All right. And where you can get help from is looking at where Mercury and Taurus is, because you're more likely to be grounded, stable, focused, and methodical about something. So look at your Taurus area of life to gain some solutions. This could be healthy eating, maybe doing a detox or a fast. Um, um, Working on a skill, having a consistent schedule and not deviating from your plan, um, getting outside in the sun, getting hug a tree, plant your feet firmly on the earth to help you stay grounded. Um, yeah. Um, I want to say so much. It might even make you not react, to be honest with you, right? Uh, because Taurus can sometimes be very stubborn, and I honestly, God, think that that might be the absolute best thing to do right now. Um, Especially if you haven't thought things through. Um, And so Pluto will square the nodes that will last all the way until November, but we'll feel it until about July, August. Squares are tension and conflict with power struggles, confrontation with external forces. So again, this is the energy of something happening outside of your control. You might not see this coming. And because it's Pluto, I'm almost positive you're not. You have no fucking idea. And that whole energy of something boiling underneath the surface or things that we're unconsciously or subconsciously suppressing is very, very activated right now. Just by way of what this energy represents. Something is being eclipsed out. We are not seeing the full entire story of what's to come. And it's going to bubble up over really over these next 18 months. But, the first of the energy obviously is going to be the the strongest. And I don't think it's going to be fucking pretty because America in itself, despite us people here and all the bullshit they put us through, is being shaken up right now. And like I mentioned in my other video, they're losing, even if it doesn't seem like they aren't. Even if this is like conspiracy theorists, they're all in cahoots together as a nation of people in power doing this to create a one government. Well, whatever the storyline is that you come up with, that's their focus. So they're not really paying attention to what we're doing. They're working underneath the scenes to plan and do whatever it is they're really planning. At the same time, they're throwing out little fear-based things here to see how we're reacting and what we're reacting to. And, they're watching. They are tracking us. They're seeing how much force they're going to have to use to implement whatever it is they're trying to implement, right? That is manipulation. That is Pluto, right? Pluto will test you, probe you, poke you. It's a detective, so you're under surveillance. You're being watched, um, examined, studied. Um, um, you know, so they know how to move, right? Um, um, and on a people level, all our shit's being stirred up. It's either a transformation and we're rising above, and we're in that phoenix rising energy where we're seeing the bigger picture, making more stable, grounded moves, right? Or we're in a transformation where we're going through the dark night of the soul. Something is going to come up in such a way that's going to smack us so hard that we're going to be like, damn, I can't move because I'm embarrassed. I'm in fear. Um, I feel worthless. I have nobody. I'm an outsider. Um, how did I let this happen? This guilt. This could be grief. Um, you know, shame if I didn't say that already. Well, I feel like maybe embarrassed is the same as shame, you know. Um, something has shooken us up in a way that could cause some real deep soul searching, right? So we're here, but we're not really fucking here, right? And then, on the psychological end, to be honest with you, after all that Neptune energy playing out, I mean, just forget about Neptune. Forget I even brought that up. When you talk about serial killers and what are you detecting, right? So if you're being a detective, I'm assuming that there's some crime. Pluto is criminal activity. Uh, secret societies and groups, was it's in Aquarius. Um, and when I think about Aquarius as a psycho, I think of somebody who's like a menace to society, but not like Scorpio or Neptune. Not like Pluto or Neptune. No, 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 no. Uranus is a little bit more like the homeless guy who walks around talking to himself and like, he might like scare you or something like that. Or, he's not really homeless or crazy though, you know? But he can definitely shake your world up enough to make you think twice about fucking with him or something to that effect. More like a protagonist, like a clown or uh, you know, uh, um, a genius gone mad, you know, more like that. But once you start adding Pluto with Aquarius, well, now you're talking, you know, um, psycho groups that come together. So a group of psychos that come together, and like, what's the name of that? Uh, I think these movies they're based off of like you get one night where you can like go around no rules and do whatever you want. What the fuck is that? Is it anarchy? More like anarchy, right? Where there's a group of people who just, want to vandalize and make damage and all that. And you add Pluto, we're talking about eating people, captures, cannibalism, you know. Um, I'm just having fun with this now, but um, yeah. Anywho, I mean, it could get real crazy, but I do think under the surface, we're gonna see a lot of stuff like that, especially because we had all that fucking psycho energy in um with Neptune and the Neptune squares to Gemini, and because this energy is like connected to that spooky time around like the end of October and beginning of November. Remember, I kept talking about serial killers and that movie with what's the crazy dude? Like this is 6 months from there. This is the outcome of that energy. Um, I just think this is a time where you breed psychos, some real fucking psychos, right? Um, And I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think we can hear a lot of that. Uh, or they start making more movies coming out about people like that. I'd be surprised if they didn't start running Hannibal again. No bullshit. But anyway, because I can talk about that stuff all day. But, I think we're going to see a lot of feeling of being trapped and powerless and facing challenging circumstances. Pluto represents power hungry people. I think people are going to see America's true colors and I mean, I think we already have a feeling or an idea that we know these people are fucking cocked, right? Yeah, I don't think we know to what true extent, though. These are straight gangsters, like terror attacks, when you mix Aries and Mars energy, we're talking about, again, holding people captive. What do you call it when somebody uh interrogations, those tactics that they do like in the army to teach you to get information out of people, those kind of brutal um um situations. I think, you know, It's very Secret Service, um, that kind of energy. All the army with all the levels in the army and all those Secret Service government freaking things that they show on all these TV shows. I think, in real life, we got a lot of that stuff possibly going on in very dark corners of the world. Um, uh, so power hungry, terror attacks, and money issues. Aquarius rules the collective. This could be mass shock, a collective rebellion, people saying they can't deal with the toxic situations, the power struggles. We can see big business and tech coming together, having conversations, um, and or just seeing more things about how they are going to be working together in tandem. Um, Banks and technology, uh, politics and technology, um, our resources and food and finances and our body. So this is like fear porn around how are you going to eat? How are you going to afford things? And then the government kind of comes in and swoops in like they always do to save you, by offering a solution to put a chip in your arm or, here you got to use your fingerprint to whatever, sign up for something quick and it'll solve all your problems. I don't know what the fuck they're going to be offering on the back end, but it could be something like that. Um, could be a mass transfer of money from banks to technology. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do a bigger video on Pluto square the nodes because I think it's the only thing that matters right now, to be quite frank. The more and more I do my research, especially because Pluto's still gonna be in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius. This shit's not fucking pretty, man. Like you can't put Pluto and Aquarius, Mars, and Neptune together. Like you can't have those combinations in the sky together. Um yeah, it's not good. Like I don't like it at all. Um But nonetheless, it's a necessary evil to get us as people to see the truth. Like, again, because it's Pluto, this is psychological conditioning, right? It's that idea that we know these people suck at fucking life, right? But it's like the difference between knowing or having a thought and knowing, and then being able to take that once you get the truth. You're never gonna believe anything you see around that anymore. And now it's just gonna be about how do we move to get past it, over it, through it, and evolve, and that's gonna be starting with the self, right? You gotta do the healing. Um, you gotta build up courage to find out who you are and what you're here to do. How is this experience going to give you wisdom to change somebody else's life, right? It's Pluto and Aquarius. It's up to the people to make the transformation. And I think that's going to be the hardest part, but because we're so conditioned to the point that it's like we don't really know. We know, but we don't know. That's going to be what the holdup is to this transformation, this elevation this time around. And even though that sucks, it's like, um, watch when you get to the end of this 18 months, you are never, ever, 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 ever gonna look at whatever area of life that's just showing up as again the same. Niggas is gonna be like stupid fucking dumbstruck, like, yo. Nigga, like really? I gotta change my life, right? Um, on a positive note, we'll face our fears and transform in powerful ways. We can shed old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us and help us embrace a new way of being. We're evolving as people. These are paradigm shifts and quantum breakthroughs, new creativity, new way of understanding information. Um, um, the last time we had Pluto square the nose was in Capricorn, but it was in 2014. And the US launched an airstrike on Kobana. I hope I'm saying that right. There was a protest in Hong Kong. Scotland voted to stay in the UK, the United Kingdom. Oil prices crashed. There was an Ebola strike in West Africa. Russia threatened Ukraine back then. So that's already, you can see that's already coming to fruition. Um, there were power outages, hacking, cyber attacks, and airline issues. I mean, I think these are going to be things that we can also see at this time. On a personal level, this would be a time to let go of anything hidden. We can we can see us more focused on power struggles and inner demons with ourselves more than anybody else. But again, it's going to depend on where this is happening in your chart because it could be shown through another person, place, or thing. Um, it could be emotional trauma that will be exposed. Money and sex will definitely be highlighted. Um, Pluto and disempowers situations and things start to collapse around us. So our fears are really going to be highlighted. But again, it's happening so that we can accept the truth for what it is and don't take it as, oh, that's normal because it's just been happening forever type thing, and grow and evolve past that ideology. That's what we're trying to change is that ideology. And get the courage to fight back, make a change, be motivated to make change. And overcome your fears, you know. And I think it's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be the absolute most dopest transformation ever in history, ever in history, ever in history. I'm going to say it again because I really do believe that. I'm not just saying it because it's Pluto and Aquarius, and we haven't had this for 250 years. And, it's time. It's time. And I do think we're going to see that on a massive level, the same way they did 250 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was a massive fucking collective shock on how much they was like, we ain't doing this shit no more type energy, you know? And I think it's going to be amazing. I really do. I really believe that in my deepest hearts of hearts. And yeah, man, I love and appreciate y'all as usual. I hope you are finding this information helpful. Peace.